afternoon. My name is Jessica Seda. Today I'm going to speak to you about something that is near and dear to my heart, cheerleading. I wanted to start off today with a little joke. So, what is a cheerleader's favorite drink after the big game? Anyone?
What?
Root beer! By the end of my discussion today, you will hear about the history of cheerleading, a trial that cheerleading was involved with, and what it takes to be a cheerleader. I hope that you will side with me in deciding that cheerleading is a sport. People usually think of cheerleaders as girls with pom-poms at pep rallies, when in fact it is much greater than that. This industry produces at least $500 million a year. This includes middle school cheerleading, high school cheerleading, professional, college, and independent cheerleading. There are high schools that offer cheerleading as credited courses, and colleges that offer cheerleading scholarships. We're going to move right along into the history of cheerleading. There's an article from varsitymagazine.com that says cheerleading in the late 1800s was called pep club and consisted of all males. They would yell chants out to their friends on the football and basketball teams. Women were not allowed into cheerleading until 1923. It wasn't until the 40s that women joined in large groups. By the 1960s, you could find cheerleading just about anywhere. All-star cheerleading started in the 1980s. This type of cheerleading focuses on athletic training and competition performances, as opposed to school cheerleading, which is still more of a pep or spirit club. By the 1990s, all-star cheerleading and school cheerleading were both on a competition level. And this still continues today. Now that we have a little history about cheerleading, let's move on to the trial that brought this controversy into light. Russell Goldman from abcnews.com states that in June of 2010, a trial took place to see whether or not cheerleading was actually considered a sport. Members from a university women's volleyball team sued the university for giving their money to the cheerleading program. The university receives federal funding and therefore must meet the requirements of the Title IX, must meet the requirements of Title IX of the Education Amendment of 1972. The university believes that it has complied with this law because the cheerleading team is a competitive athletic activity, and cheerleading has changed significantly since 1972. The judge sided with the volleyball team in the end, stating that the activity was too underdeveloped and too disorganized to be treated as a genuine varsity program. The simple fact is, this law needs to change. If this sport was too underdeveloped and too disorganized, then why are there national and world championships televised on ESPN and other channels? Now that we know about the trial, we're going to move into something a little bit more interesting, what it takes to be a cheerleader. Cheerleading is just as strenuous as any other sport. Most high school teams practice 8 to 10 hours and have excellent 8 to 10 hours a week and have excellent health, or need to be in excellent health and exercise regularly. Let me just change this. Okay. Most cheerleaders take extra time out of their already busy schedules to go to tumbling classes on top of everything else. They also have to maintain a 2.0 grade point average to stay on the team. Not only do cheerleaders have to make up their routines, but they make up their routines for pep rallies and games, but they also have to make them up for competitions as well. The injury rate for cheerleading is higher than any other female sport as of 2001. There was an estimated 25,000 injuries due to cheerleading in the emergency rooms across the nation, reported by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. When you put all these facts together, you have the makings of a sport. Most likely cheerleaders on a competitive team put in more effort and hard work than a lot of the other sports. Maybe if the judge knew this when he was doing this trial, he might have considered cheerleading to be a sport instead of siding with the other team. Thank you for your time. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
How do the cheerleaders stay physically fit throughout the season?
Well, most cheerleaders go to the gym almost every day, and the biggest workouts that they do are sit-ups and push-ups to make their arms and their abs strong so that they can hold other girls up and so that they can tumble very well. Anybody else? Yes.
What are the most common injuries?
The most common injuries sustained in cheerleading are head, neck, and knee injuries. Most of the time, it is from falling out of a stunt or having somebody fall on top of you.
Sounds fun.
Anybody else?
How long is the cheer season, or how long does it last?
The cheer season, depending on what team you are on, can last anywhere from a half a year to a full year. High school teams generally go from September to May, and then they have the summer off. Where most all-star competitors go all year round. Thank you very much and have a great evening.